Alrighty, so let's go ahead and take a look now at the Escort Redline. This is Escort's top dog when it comes to just sheer detection capabilities. If you need to know if there's radar in the area, basically no matter how far away it is, unless it's on the moon, this is the way to go. This right here is the king. So when it comes to just long distance detection, whether it's on axis or off axis, this is the way to go. So yeah. Now let's take a look as far as kind of alerting stuff.
Reported. KA band.
So there's going to be your alerts, and that's the way it looks when it's paired to Escort Live. So that's your Redline alerts. That's a KA band alert. Let's take a look at a K band alert as well. See how that looks. Oh, right, and it's locked out over here. There we go. Let's try it again. Quit it.
K-band.
Don't mind the lockout issue. It's just an issue with Live because I've got location services disabled. So it thinks I'm out in the middle of the ocean and it's just doing funky things. So ignore that. That's not an issue. So that's K-band, just a continuous alert. KA band will give you that beeping type of alert. So as you can tell, you've got the light here, which you can turn on and off if you like. It's got, as far as the design, it's kind of got this little lip that sticks out, the Jay Leto chin. That kind of helps when you're just reaching up, you can press the buttons. However, when you've got it mounted up high, it can, depending on the angle, actually limit your ability to read the screen. And I've got that, I've noticed it's an issue. I've got it mounted high up to the right on the passenger side of the car, way up in the far corner of the windshield, and I actually have an issue reading the screen on the detector. So I use Live, and it makes it a lot easier to see, you know, when you've got an alert in the area, what's going on. So you've got just 3 buttons here. You've got your power button, you've got your volume/mute, and this will allow you to change between different modes, and you can do some programming. So the way it works, you've got your volume controls. Really simple, loud to quiet, press and hold. There's no dial, it's just press and hold to change. And this will change between,
Highway.
I run it on highway mode for just full sensitivity all the time, because that's really the only place I run it, is the highway. So, as far as changing settings, you can do it this way, and kind of cycle through the modes.
Brightness, auto, alert lamp, power on sequence, meter options. Spec mode.
So I run it in spec mode, which actually gives me the frequency here.
Bar graph.
So you can do bar graph mode.
Completed.
Let's take a look at this.
Reported. KA band.
Let's turn that down a little. So that'll give you just the signal strength. And if we change it to now, actually let's do it this way. This will just make it easier. Same thing. Meter mode, if we go to expert display, the third option, that's going to be kind of like the V1's equivalent of a bogey counter.
Reported. Multiple signals detected.
So up to 2 KA units, it can't do 3 of them. So let's think everything's in hold now. We'll wait for it to stop real quick. So there's a K-band source. Transmit. Come on, pick it up. It's not picking up this K-band source. Just going nuts. It's reading something. I don't know. I don't know what that guy's doing, but... Oh, right. Sorry, it's still muted. I guess that's the thing that I've had... The way it handles muting with Live, this is something I don't like, is it totally mutes the signal as long as it's muted. So, yeah, and it's, I guess, muted right now. So there's no way to adjust, like with the V1, the muted volume sensitivity. It's just silent. And if you've got the signal locked out...
Preferences.
Actually, sorry, let's get out of there. If you've got the thing locked out like this... So it'll show right there. We'll let it go away. There it is. And now when we trigger it again, you'll get no alert here on the detector. None. It just totally ignores any sort of locked out signals. There's no audio alert. There is no visual alert from the detector. The only thing you will get is you're going to get the alert here saying, oh, cool, there's a locked out signal. You're only going to see that if you happen to be looking at your phone for whatever reason and you see it pop up. So if it's in your line of sight, that's going to help, but it's grayed out, it's not obvious, and it's not very easy to see. The thing I've noticed is around here, if you've got a locked out signal and you've got a second signal. So let's say I've got my pocket radar here. This is a K-band source. And it's not being detected by the Redline for some reason. All right. Quick timeout. Plug this in. No, not that one. Okay. I'm going to change this to... Okay, so look at this.
Reported. Multiple signals
And
detected.
it's falsing to pop for some reason. I do have a pop mode gun right there, but I am not using it. So for some reason, it just got overdriven right there and thought that it was a pop signal. Whatever. Anyways. So what happens now is if you've got multiple signals going on, if I shoot my Falcon HR, there you go, you can see the full alert there. Now if I shoot a second gun, there is no indication that there's more radar. All you know is as long as it's in the same frequency range, there is zero indication that there's a second bogey, that there's a second signal which wasn't there before. So if you're driving through a place where a K-band signal is locked out, and it's in the same frequency range, you will have absolutely no idea. So that's a big issue I have. Because I've got a lot of K-band here in town, I have had it several times actually lock out a real cop. With, see, I've done it with the Plus, I've done it with the Redline. It's anything which has an escort type of GPS lockout. Because you can't see additional signals, you'll have no idea. So that's an issue I have and why I can't fully trust it running around here in town, so I just relegate it to highway only. Another issue I had, which I actually just discovered making this video on my last take, let's take a look at this. You can segment the detector. I've got it set up right now to basically do Ka-band 2, which is for 33.8, Ka-band 5, which is for 34.7, and then Ka-band 8, which is for 35.5. So that's what it's set up like right now. So, KA, actually, let's change that. I'm gonna do this real quick because I don't like that mode. I like this. So, it does my frequency. Okay, so I've got band 2 turned on, and now watch this. Radar settings, band 2, turn it off. Okay, so now 33.8 should no longer be detected. However, it's still there. And I can do the same thing, like let's do, there's 35.5. Now let's go in and turn off band 8. So 35.5 should no longer alert. However, transmit, and there's your alert.
Reported.
So a bug that I found just now with Escort Live, or not with Live, but with the Redline and its new, if you power cycle the detector, here I'll do this. Let's turn off everything but band 5, and I'm going to show you this. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to quickly just power cycle the Redline, and actually while that's going, let me show you something else. Okay, so watch this. This is, I guess, another issue that I've got with the Redline. So it is transmitting right now. You can see XMIT on the bottom left of the radar gun. So there you go. There's highway, and let's see how long it takes. It's about 10 seconds for the alert to actually happen. So it looks like the detector is on, but there it is. So there's a long delay between when this thing is actually turning on. It looks like it's working, but it's not. So anyways, if we go ahead and test out now 33.8, it will not alert. If we do a little 35.5, it will not alert. So we've got that there. If we go ahead and turn those bands back on, I'm driving around and like, oh, hey, I'm in a new state. I know that in this state they use this gun. I'll go ahead and turn this band on. Cool. Okay. I've got it turned on. 33.8 is on. And the detector will not alert. Same thing with 35.5. I get no alert. However, power cycle the detector once again. And then we'll let this go. And we'll do the same thing again, 34.7. We'll just wait for it to pop up. Cool. Okay.
K8 and
Give it a 33.8 hit. So now that works. We do a little 35.5. Now that works. So when you've got it in spec mode like this, you can only see one signal at a time. You can't see multiple. So you don't have the bogey counter like you do with the V1. There's some issues like it doesn't detect it first. This segmentation bug where it's not actually even going to detect signals. There's just weird issues like that. Like Escort Live has its issues. I used to have an STIR Plus, and it had tons of errors. I mean, there was like a GPS wiring error. There was a GPS error. There was a power issue. There was just all sorts of stuff going on. There's like, if you look at the Macs, they've got most of the bugs ironed out now. But, you know, there's just so much going on there that running an Escort product, and to be honest, I don't have the same level of confidence that I do running a V1. The V1, it's been out forever, and they pretty much have all the bugs ironed out at this point, so it's one of those things where if it's on, and if there's a signal that it can detect, it will alert. With some of the Escort products, you kind of wonder, I mean, is there a bug? Is it going to false? Is it going to... The Redline, I gotta admit, it is pretty good. It's been out long enough to where most of the stuff is ironed out, and the sensitivity is phenomenal. You can't get anything better in a windshield mount like this. So the M3 horn in there, fantastic. The detector itself, excellent. There's just some weird things like, you know, sometimes you can't see the screen or the segmentation bug or whatever, little things, and they're kind of, okay, you can work around them, whatever. As far as the housing itself, it's kind of this matte coating, non-reflective, so great for putting in your car. It will not reflect back on the windshield, which is nice. Let's see, what else can I say about it? Basically just a good highway detector specifically. Lockouts, it does work if you pair it with Live. Live works a little bit better on the iPhone than it does on Android. And let's see, what else can you do here? Pop mode, good. Laser, good. So, what else do I really like about this detector? I like basically the fact that its range is so long that if I'm out in a situation, if there's a lot of hills, trees, or curves, we got a ton of those out here on our highways. It's tough. There's a lot of radar absorbing natural stuff. So, in situations where I want the best possible chance of catching any instant on way off in the distance, you know, my rabbit's ahead of me being shot, this is the detector that I run. It doesn't play perfectly nicely with the V1 as long as the V1 is close, so I usually shut off the V1 and then I switch specifically over to Live. Another issue that I do have with it, not an issue since I don't run it too much, but if you run it in dark mode like this, it'll shut off the display on the detector. Now, if you have an Escort Live alert and it says there's like a live cop, a live KA alert or whatever, it will still turn on the screen here and actually display it there. It'll display it here on the phone and on the detector. So if you want to be totally stealth and hey, you know, you want this blacked out, you're running in a state where you don't want other people, you know, you just don't want other people knowing that you got a detector. You run the screen off like this. If you run across an Escort Live alert, it's still going to light up your Redline, which... whatever. So yeah, that's not cool. So that's that. It does have basically total immunity to any sort of radar detector. So, the VG2 and the Spectra, if you're running in a place where they are running radar detectors, because these are illegal radar detectors, these will not be picked up by any sort of detectors. So you can run them. They don't leak enough energy to be picked up. So you can run this, turn off the screen, maybe hide it a little bit, tuck it somewhere, and you can run this without actually being picked up. So that's definitely a great benefit that you will not get with the V1. I don't live in illegal areas. It's totally legal here, so this isn't a big deal for me, but I know for a lot of people this is a big deal. So if you need that, the only way to go for that is one of the Escort products with the M3 horn. So something like a Magnum, an STI driver, a Redline, or STIR Plus, or the 9500 CI. So you'll definitely need the horn here. What else can I say about this thing? What else do I like? The mount is okay. You can use the new sticky cup or the suction cup. The dual suction cup thing works okay. Put it up. Not as good as Valentine's mount. Laser detection is pretty good. It's, again, not as good as the V1, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Run your jammers and you're fine. The laser alert on this is pretty nuts. So, good there for alerts. Definitely will get your attention. What else? I guess that's all I have to say right now about the Redline. So, oh yeah, my head's pointing away. Good detector. If you need it, get it. I'm really happy to have mine, and if I had to sell one between my V1 and my Redline, I'd sell this and run the V1. But I'm really happy having this both for live and for just the ultimate detection itself. I usually run Escort Live in the background, and then I'll run Waze in the foreground like this. The good thing about live is it'll still work with live alerts on the detector. So if you're driving around, sometimes with Waze you won't get the alerts, but with live you'll still get the alerts even if the app is backgrounded. So that is really nice. So you can use this, mark alerts, do your Waze thing, and then in the background you've got live. You do, want to switch back and forth between the two. So you do this if you get an alert and you're like, oh hey, you want to lock something out. You can switch back to live and lock out a signal or see what the frequency is. So I will switch back for actual alerts, but typically for me personally, I prefer running Waze in the foreground and having live in the background. It seems to work a little bit better. So, cool. I guess that's about all I got to say. So thanks so much for watching this video.